I'm sorry, but if the Kraken can play that well on defense, get that good of goaltending, and go 2 for 2 on the power play against a team as good as the Penguins, I've got two questions. Where has it been? And how do we sign up for more of it? What's cracking, everybody, and welcome to Kraken R&R, where, as has become a bit of a theme now over the last few games, the Kraken rebound after a somewhat disappointing loss against a not-so-good team with a win against a pretty good one in the Pittsburgh Penguins, defeating them 3-1. Wait, 1 second, it sounds like the final score is under review. Okay, good. Final score stands. Kraken win 3-1. And also with the win, the Kraken improved their record now to 4-4-2, so back to hockey 500 anyway, and also get their 10th point on the season 10 games in, which for a benchmark as to how that's improved from last season, well, it took them until game 18 to break the double-digit mark in points, going from 9 to 11 then. Real quick though, before we jump into the game, there is, well, a bit of an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed, at least in short. And that would be the third game in a row now in which Shane Wright was a healthy scratch, which is all 3 games of this homestand. And to be honest, I thought about just kind of doing a very short recap of the game and then just spending this entire video on the Shane Wright situation had things gone poorly in this game. But since the Kraken played well and ended up winning this game, it just doesn't really seem like the vibe of this video, so we're just going to save that for a separate video, but we are definitely going to have that discussion. At least in good, uplifting pregame news, both Jordan Eberle and Martin Jones had new babies the day before the game, which I guess depending on how things had gone might not have been great news, considering I know at least for me the day after having our baby, I hardly had the energy to keep myself functional while taking care of a new human, much less play hockey or even NHL hockey for that matter, and certainly not at the level that those two played this game. And as we do now get into the game, Martin Jones in particular was tested a few times early on, as the Kraken kind of took a little bit of time to warm up into this game. Fortunately, again, Jones was able to bail them out, and as the, rest of this first period and honestly rest of the game went on, Seattle was really able to settle in, especially defensively, and play very solid there. And in the first period, that was really true at both ends of the ice, as neither team was allowing particularly good scoring chances. Seattle, I would say, probably had the better of it as they were able to rebound a bit from the slow start. Still, at the end of one, the score was tied 0-0. And in spite of another early period Penguins push, that remained true early on in the second, as it really started to feel like the first goal in this game could be a very important one, which started to feel pretty good when Seattle got the first power play of the game. However, that first power play didn't really go much of anywhere, as they only really ever got set up once, and I think got one shot off on goal, missed the net a couple of times, but either way, didn't really put up a huge or particularly dangerous scoring effort. It's okay though, because just a couple minutes after this failed power play for the Kraken, they get a 2-on-1 chance going into the offensive zone. It's Eberle with Donato on the other side. Eberle opts to not go for the pass and then also opts to not go for the shot, instead going for the wraparound chance, or I should say wrapping it around to Smith's leg anyway, as he's able to successfully do that, getting it around to Smith, but just at the last second when there's only ice between him and the goal line, the puck slides off of his stick because of course it does. It's early season Eberle. He's not going to score goals. However, Donato, crashing on the other side, is able to smack it into the goal to give the Kraken the 1-0 lead. And of course it's Donato because, well, if there's one thing we know about Donato, he's almost guaranteed to score in the game after being scratched. And so we can all collectively breathe a sigh of relief, as in, again, what seems like it's going to be a pretty low scoring game. The Kraken are on the board first. Or at least they would have been if the Penguins hadn't immediately challenged for offside, and sure enough, after review, Donato was just barely across the blue line before Eberle got the puck into the zone, so the goal comes off the board. And at this point, I think we all know what's coming next. Because the Kraken have something good happen for them taken away, it just means that something bad is coming right down the pipe going the other direction. Sure enough, 2 minutes later, Alexiak makes a rather ill-advised pass. I'm not sure if he was even looking where he was passing the puck, as he kind of puts it between Eberle and Borgen and right to Jake Gensel, who takes it free down the other side. And although he does get contested on his shot at the other end by Alexiak, his shot gets past Jones and into the net to give the Penguins the 1-0 lead. Fortunately, though, the Kraken are able to respond quickly as they get the puck right into the offensive zone off the faceoff, get a couple shots off on goal, and one of those shots rebounds off to Smith right back out in front for Burakovsky, who roofs the shot to tie the game right back up at 1. Or at least it would have been tied at 1 if not for once again the play going to review, this time for a missed stoppage on a high stick. And sure enough, after review, the refs find what they decide is a high stick. I mean, it kind of looks like it was a high stick that Wennberg hits the puck with, although the perspective on the replay is a little bit weird, so it's hard to tell for sure. Either way, they find reason to take another Kraken goal off the board, and still it's 1-0 Penguins. Okay, great, so it's just going to be another one of those games, isn't it? We've already seen 2 goals taken off the board for the Kraken on high sticks already this season, one of them just in the previous game, and sure, both of those were high sticks that hit the puck into the net, and this time it was a high stick prior to the actual goal scoring, but still. The Kraken, though, would not be denied, as with booze still raining down after the second goal has been taken off of the board for them this period, and just within the last couple of minutes, they win the faceoff just outside the blue line. Dunn fires the puck down along the boards into the offensive zone, where behind the net it's picked up by Schwartz. He gets it out to Beniers across to Eberle, and Eberle buries it into the back of the net to tie the game at 1, getting his first of the season. And this one is not coming off the board. The game is now tied for sure. However, even though this time the goal isn't challenged and does now officially tie the game at 1, not long after the ensuing face-off, but the refs, displeased by the fact that they couldn't take a third Kraken goal off the board, send Carson Soucy to the box to give the Penguins a power play on an interference call. Okay, to be fair with the officials, I do actually think this was a pretty well and evenly officiated game, but at this point in the game, with everything that's gone against the Kraken here in the last couple of minutes, the 2 goals getting taken off the board and then getting sent to their penalty kill, which again we know has not been particularly good to this point in the season, right after they finally get one to stick, it's just more fun to say that the officials are against them, even if it wasn't actually true, so we're going to run with it. Besides, either way, when the Kraken really needed it to, their penalty kill unit steps up and does its job well here, killing this one off successfully without too many dangerous scoring chances for the Penguins, and importantly, again, none that end up in the back of the net. And not only that, but right after the kill is successfully completed, they get a very good scoring chance down at the other end of the ice that is saved by DeSmith. A few minutes later, though, as we close into the final minutes of the second, the Kraken, after a pretty decent push at the Penguins' end of the ice, find themselves back at their end, with Kapanen carrying the puck into the defensive end for the Kraken, where he makes a somewhat ill-advised pass back out to the blue line that's intercepted by Dunn. He starts a breakout, finding Sprong for a 2-on-1 with Geekie. Sprong, again, opting not to go for the pass, shoots the puck. It's saved by DeSmith, but wrapping around from the other side, Geekie finds the rebound and buries it into the back of the net, roofing it over the pad of DeSmith to give the Kraken the 2-1 lead. And once again, there's no challenge. This one is staying on the board. Again, it's a great play on the back check by Dunn to intercept this pass, even if it was a no-look, somewhat ill-advised pass by Kapanen in the first place, but still a good play by Dunn, who banks it off the boards up to Sprong to start the 2-on-1 breakaway, and then Geekie with a very nice play to finish it after the Sprong shot. Things are starting to feel like they could be going the Kraken way in this one, but just as we get that feeling, once again, displeased by the fact that the Kraken officially got a goal to stick on the scoreboard, not seconds after the puck is dropped, once again, the refs find a way to send Soucy to the box, this time for a cross-check. Although, again, to be fair to the officials, regardless of what you thought of the interference call, Soucy definitely earned this one. Once again, though, the Kraken penalty kill is able to successfully do their job and kill off the first 30 seconds of this power play as we get to the end of the second. And then as we start the third, they're able to kill off another good chunk of the power play. However, this is where things start to fall apart. As we've seen with this penalty kill, they'll play really well for a while and then just allow that one good chance that ends up in the back of the net. And once again, that's what almost ends up happening here, as Malkin gets a very nice cross-crease pass from the goal line out to the other side to a wide open Sidney Crosby, who has empty net to shoot at and no Kraken defenders in front of him, fires off the shot, and Martin Jones with the monster save gets back across and gets his toe pad to it to keep the Kraken in the lead. It's still 2-1, and Crosby can only put his head in his hands in disbelief at how Jones was able to get back across and save this game for the Kraken. Easily the best save of the season so far for Seattle, I think it's safe to say. And again, the Kraken survived this penalty kill with just a few more seconds left in it. and keep the Penguins off the board with both penalty kills that they have in this game. Still though, even with this second successful penalty kill by the Kraken, the Penguins continue to press to try to even the game up here early on in the third, until eventually Seattle is able to turn the momentum and get a nice aggressive push down at the other end of the ice in the middle part of the third, eventually getting a power play. And this power play is a lot better than the first Kraken one way back in the early part of the second period, as they do get a number of shots off on goal, but no particular dangerous scoring chances, and it's also killed off by the Penguins, as none of the 4 power plays in this game would end up turning into goals for the team on the power play. Following this now second failed power play for the Kraken, the Penguins do kind of control the rest of the game as they take over in the back half of the third, trying to even up the score. You could make an argument that it was Seattle just going into turtle mode and being okay with playing defense the rest of the way, but honestly I think it had more to do with a lack of urgency and some sloppy play in the neutral zone as they tried to transition back to the other end. Either way, fortunately, Jones is up to the task as he was making some more big saves in net. Nothing quite as big as the save he made on Crosby on that power play, but still was standing strong and putting up the wall to keep Penguins off the board. Of course, it also certainly helped that the Kraken were able to win 5 consecutive faceoffs in their defensive end, which, as we've talked about, has been a bit of an issue for them, just winning faceoffs in general so far this season. And actually, at the end of this game, they had more faceoffs won than the Penguins, which is the first time they've done that in quite a while. So there's some improvement there that's good to see. And so, again, thanks to that combination of some good play in the faceoff circle, which we haven't been used to, and a very good performance in net from Jones, which also we haven't been terribly used to, the Kraken do push this one late enough where the Penguins have to go empty net, and although he did pass up a shot on that empty net from the neutral zone a little bit earlier, eventually Jaden Schwartz does find the empty net from Tanev to put the Kraken up 3-1, which is where the score would end. All in all then, again from the Kraken, another very good game, and a pretty complete one at that, except for the back half of the third, where again they lacked a little bit of urgency and allowed the Penguins some pretty consistent pressure. Still, they play very solid defensively, the best defensive game I think they've played so far this season. Again, probably the best game we've seen in net all season, going 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. And yeah, just a solid team win against a very good team in the Penguins, even if the Penguins did have a bit of a rough road trip. And yes, they were on the back half of a back-to-back where they lost the previous game against the Vancouver Canucks 5-1, a Canucks team that, as we know, has had a rough start to their season until they beat Seattle, unfortunately, a couple nights ago. As for the Kraken 3 stars in this one, we're going to start with the 2 new dads, and actually we'll start with the one actually new dad in Martin Jones, who just had his first kid the day before the game, and in the game, easily the best performance we've seen in net from any Kraken goaltender, though Jones has started the vast majority of the games thanks to the Grubauer injury. Still, his best performance by far, certainly in a complete game, and again, probably the best save we've seen this season on that Crosby shot on the power play to start out the third. Other than Jones, getting the second star will be Jordan Eberle. He did have it, so this is his second kid, so he's not technically a new dad, but having his kid also the day before this game, coming into this one and having probably his best game of the season, getting his first goal. Not that he hasn't had opportunities to get goals, as we've seen so far this season, like the start of last season. Lots of opportunities, but just could not seem for the life of him to get one to go. Eventually, does get one to go off of that pass from Schwartz and Beniers. And so, yeah, he'll get the second star. As for the third star, with 2 points in the game and just an all-around very good game, I think Jaden Schwartz deserves the third star here. Again, an assist on that Eberle goal, getting it up to Beniers, who got it across to Eberle, and then gets the empty netter, get his second point and 5th goal of the season, which ties McCann for the lead in the team. A few honorable mentions. One would certainly be Vince Dunn. He almost got the third star here for me. Has the assist on the Geekie goal, getting it up to Sprong, who got it to Geekie, and also started the play that got them the first goal. So really gets what you could consider an assist, or at least starts the play for both of the Kraken goals that aren't empty net ones. Also, Morgan Geekie had a great game, getting, again, that game-winning goal, or the one that took the lead anyway, which does probably make it harder for them to put Wright in instead of Geekie for the game in Calgary, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see there. Again, we'll cover the whole Wright situation in a separate video. Either way, great game from Geekie. Also a good game from Sprong, the other guy that's been in and out of the lineup there. Donato had a pretty good game. Did score, but it got taken off the board, so he continues to at least put the puck in the net, whether or not it counts, coming off of being scratched for a game or two. And if there's anybody else I didn't mention that you think should have been mentioned, which could be a fair few players. Again, this was a pretty good all-around game from the Kraken. Let me know about that down in the comment section below, or just your thoughts on this game in general and going into the road trip. Again, the right situation, I think we can just save for that separate video. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section. And since, again, this is getting out a bit late, thanks to some issues with the camera, some behind-the-scenes issues, we'll call it here. So if you've made it to this point, thank you very much for watching. If you did like or enjoy this video, there are buttons for that kind of stuff down below that help support the channel, so I'd appreciate you using them. And until next time, on the road trip, stay safe out there, be good to each other, God bless, and go Kraken!